What's up, fellas? I'm doing this video for Kevin today, but this is also going to be for my other customers who purchased a silicon carbide burner from me. And today we're going to learn how to light this thing in really cold weather when you're trying to burn extremely nasty, thick waste oil. I'm doing a video for Kevin today. I think he's out of Texas, and he purchased one of the 22mm howitzer silicon carbide burners from me, and he's having some trouble getting it lit. So this video is for my customers who purchased this particular item, and this pretty much shows how to light one of these burners. But first, I want to go over one of the most important aspects of assembling this unit. When you put this nozzle together, the fuel rail, this section right here, has to be sealed absolutely vacuum tight. If there are any leaks in your thread tape or in your sealant compound or where your hose is connected, the burner will not work properly because this section of the nozzle is under vacuum, and a tiny air bubble will seep into there and get into the fuel stream, and because it's under vacuum, that tiny air bubble will become the entire size of this pipe, and a little slug of air will pass through and interrupt the fuel, prohibiting continuous combustion. And if the burner isn't heated up already, that could make it flame out on you. All right, fellas, for the purpose of the contrast principle here, we're going to show how this thing should work properly. See how that just lit right up? No problem whatsoever. It's very thick, very sticky waste motor oil that's got everything you can think of in it. It's also got some axle oil in it, which makes it very sticky. So that's how it should light up. That's how easily this thing lights up when you have everything set up. So let's take a look at what this thing looks like when it's set up properly. You see here the fuel canister is about 3 feet above the burner. You have to do this, and we're going to see in the video what happens if you don't. All right, guys, listen to this really low hiss of air. Barely any air at all there. You're going to light the flame by letting it go into the back intake port. Do not heat the nozzle. All right away we got problems. If this thing doesn't fire up instantly, guys, you've got an issue. So you need to stop and troubleshoot. You should get flame right away. The fact that we're not getting flame is an immediate indication that you're not getting enough fuel. If anything, you should have a big, stupid, lazy flame shooting out the front if you're not getting enough air. So that's the vice versa. So that's how you tell. So this thing is struggling to light like this. The fuel canister is currently simply sitting on top of that garbage can that we seen that double stacked 5-gallon bucket stand I had going on. So this is the type of problem you're going to encounter if you do not have the oil tank properly positioned. So we're done with this. Let's see if we can get a better look at it, but that's what happens. I'm now holding the tank in the air to give us more power, to artificially simulate setting the tank. See how the hose is kind of moving there? Probably gonna go out. Oh shit. So as you can see, having this oil tank set at the same height ain't gonna work. The oil's just too cold. So that's what happens when the oil tank is set at the same height as the burner. Though it does pump fuel on its own, it can't pump enough fuel to keep it running when it's really cold out. All right, guys, so take a look at the fuel hose here. I've just turned on the fuel hose full blast and the air full blast, and you're gonna see the oil column travel through. See how slow that's traveling and how thick it is? That's not good. We need way more flow than that. Okay, now I have elevated the oil container. You can see in relation to the burner, it's a little bit higher, and this is going to help the ignition process. Okay, low air, a lot of fuel. See how easily it lights up? So another thing you can do to solve this problem, guys, is to increase the diameter of the fuel line. I had a guy one time who had a 55-gallon drum raised about 12 feet in the air, and he had a 12-foot copper 3/8 line connected to the burner, and that was not big enough. The oil has so much resistance running through the pipe that it just gets really sticky. So it can become a problem. Another thing you want to do when you first get this burner is adjust the nozzle. You see how the flame's coming out perfectly straight right there? And notice how the nozzle is kind of crooked? You have to do that secondary adjustment to get it dialed in just perfectly, because in this particular case the oil is so thick that it's kind of lobbing off the top there and it's making the flame a little crooked. Every fuel is different, so if you were to put diesel in this, it might not like that same angle. It's kind of weird, but notice how the flame's coming out perfectly straight, and we've got somewhat of a uniform heating on the silicone nozzle, but yet that nozzle is a little bit crooked. The fuel nozzle is. And we do that by eye. We just fire it up and then sit there and look at the flame and adjust it accordingly. So for the most part, that's pretty much the biggest problem people have, is not getting enough fuel to the burner. If you're not getting enough fuel to the burner, it won't light and you won't get a lot of smoke. If you're getting enough fuel but not enough air, you'll get a really big lazy flame. So that's one indicator. This is some very thick, nasty, dirty waste oil. It's also got some thick axle oil in it too. This is pure synthetic motor oil with a bunch of axle oil and who knows what other type of crap in it. But this is some other flame settings that I'm messing with, just kind of showing you guys what it does on different settings. This fuel setup is not ideal for this really thick oil. I would actually go with a 5/8 diameter fuel line on this thing, believe it or not, just to get it to work properly in very cold conditions, because the colder you get, the worse it can become. Right here I've set it on a very low setting just to kind of go through the different settings. I have other videos of this burner running on different fuels that you guys really need to check out. I'll try and find some time to put the link in the description of those other videos of this thing. It runs amazing on diesel and propane, and it's doing pretty good on this extremely filthy waste oil. I also had a guy who owned a greenhouse, had trouble getting one lit, and I recommended that he try it on diesel fuel first to get the hang of it. And he really appreciated that advice because it got him down the road quick. This thing lights extremely easy when it's set up right, but when it's not, it can be a pain in the neck. So just wanted to help you guys out who've been helping me out with this video. So Kevin, I hope this works. I hope this gets you down the road. Thanks for the business. Same to everybody else.